Hello? Crash Bandicoot. Never played it in my life. I mean, I want to, but I don't own it. Just a sec. Crash Bandicoot on the PS1. I'm not even going to question who said this to me now. This is an amazing game. But I have too many games to play, and I don't have all the time on my hands. I need my games on the go. Yeah. Who the fuck keeps sending me these? Crash Bandicoot. What a fun, quirky game to play on all those weekends you had nothing better to do than play a game all day. Well, I too grew up with Crash Bandicoot, but probably not the one you're thinking of. I grew up with Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure on the Game Boy Advance, and because of this bad boy here, I thought that all Crash games were in 2D. Because, basically, picture the 2D segments from the other 3D Crash games, but that's the whole game. It's awesome. So, let's talk about why I love it. And I'm removing the fact that I grew up with it out of the equation. That just makes for good background. So, let's take a fair assessment of Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure. These things are small as shit. Can you even see that?
Well, first off, let's take a look at the box art. Oh no. This is not a good sign. I mean, just look at it. It looks really lame. I remember thinking it looked kinda neat as a kid, but that's back when giant looming scientists intimidated me, I guess. If you've played any other Crash games, this story might sound familiar. This guy, Neo Cortex, after having his plans ruined by Crash, the Bandicoot that he himself genetically engineered, he finds himself groveling before the evil being Uka Uka. You know, just a possessed tiki mask. It's nothing strange here, don't worry about it. Man, wouldn't it suck to be the guy who made or, like, owned the tiki mask? To find out that it's been possessed by some ancient evil spirit. Like, one day it just floats off your wall and starts making demands or something. Anyway, Cortex promises Uka that he has a plan to bring Earth's puny inhabitants down to size. So he shrinks down the world to the size of a grapefruit. Really? Like, why? Isn't that just gonna throw the world into chaos? Oceans wreaking havoc on coastlines, earthquakes and volcanoes causing mass destruction, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria! I thought they wanted to rule the world, not throw it into calamity. But apparently, the worldwide catastrophe hasn't reached Insanity Island yet, as Crash's sister Coco tells him he needs to save the world. She's joined by Aku Aku, the good possessed mask, brother of Uka Uka. He's a bro. He even takes a hit for you whenever you find him in a level.
But that's basically it. The story here is pretty simple. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's get straight into the meat of the game.
You're then presented with 5 levels to choose to beat in any order you so desire. It's really nice that you can choose which one to beat, say if you get stuck on one. You can go on to further hone your skills in another level, beat it, and go back and beat the stage that you couldn't before. I really think it works well here rather than a linear path of levels. I love these first 5 as they're very intuitive. They perfectly train you for the moves you'll have to pull off later in the game. Not to mention, after every 5 levels, you get a new ability that changes the gameplay even further. Think you have it all figured out? Now there's boxes that you can only break with your new belly flop ability. Having trouble with the time trials? Not to worry, your new running ability will solve that. I'm definitely a fan. There are 3 different types of levels. First off, we got our normal 2D platformer mainstays. Go from left to right for the most part, make your way to the end. Pretty self-explanatory. The second kind of levels we can get our sweaty, grubby little hands on are swimming levels. These are still similar in the sense that they're more linear, but the biggest difference here is the controls. It's a little hard to control, but not to the point where it irritates me. Honestly, all it does is make it feel like you're controlling a Bandicoot swimming underwater. Crash definitely has some weight to him, and you can see it and feel it. So that's pretty neat. And finally, for the final delectable piece of this 3-course meal of gameplay, we have these 3D aerial combat games. Crash dons a jetpack and glides through the skies, blasting hostile planes out of the sky and into hell. These ones are hard. What, you want me to explain it? You think you're entitled to clarification? You think clicking a video that's a review of a game warrants an explanation of difficulty? Well, you'd be right. The constant barrage of projectiles, the planes coming from everywhere, and the general clusterfuck of these levels make them my least favorite to replay. Honestly, these giant blimps were the easiest part. And those are supposed to be things that are like, hey, beat this for a checkpoint because they're hard or something. As long as you understand how to use the level's strange perspective to your advantage, you'll be fine. So you're tasked with beating the next 20 levels on your way to Cortex, with 3 bosses in between. In these levels, you find jumbles of crates to destroy, some more dangerous than others, as well as a plethora of dangerous enemies to dispose of, which, might I add, are terrifically designed. But I mean, they're not always a joy to look at. Like, what the fuck is this thing? Or this thing? Regardless of my ability to discern what they are, I immediately am aware of what attacks work on them and what I shouldn't do to get hurt by them, besides, like, running into them. It's brilliant. Even though I have no idea what the spiky lizard dude is, I know that jumping on him would hurt me. And in all honesty, that's what's most important. At least it still looks pretty cool. And then there's this, I don't know, tentacle Roomba? Sounds gross. But it goes through 2 stages in which it can only be killed by a jump, and then another one when it can only be killed by a spin or a slide. And I swear to God this shit's rigged because it always changes as I attack. It's very aggravating. So, in each level, you need to get the purple crystal. The 20 purple crystals are needed to put a stop to Cortex's stupid little shenanigans, and one is obviously hidden within each level. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say hidden? I meant blatantly placed on your path in each level. Okay, I really don't have that much of a problem with it. This game has enough hidden gems within it as it is. Literally. They're secrets. There are multiple colored gems within the levels that are surprisingly well hidden. I had a very hard time getting some of those. There it is, no, God damn it, no! And frankly, I like the spike in difficulty. Older players can have the experience of figuring out how to get to these hidden gems, while younger kids can just kind of sit there and either overcome their shortcomings and find the secrets, or just sit there and be kind of sad that Tiny Tiger still has that green gem. Fuck you, you mutant freak. Sorry, that was rude. Oh, Jesus, I said sorry! Another awesome thing about this game are the boss battles. They're all genuinely pretty challenging. Except for Dingodile, you just kind of wait around until he kills himself with a rock and you can go in and finish the job. It's mostly sad, if anything. What's cool is that each boss allows you to hone specific skills. With Dr. Engine, it's dodging and shooting accuracy in the aerial combat levels. What a fucking dumb name. Tiny Tiger makes you jump around and test your reaction time, and with Cortex, it's basically just your ability to dodge a laser that's locked onto you, which literally only happens at this one part of the game. So, I guess timing? And you can replay these boss battles as many times as you want, so you can hone your skills to perfection and then absolutely wreck the time trials. Yeah, did I mention these yet? After you beat each level, you can earn relics by beating the level within an allotted time period. There's the blue time, the gold time, and platinum time. At least I assume it's platinum and not silver. That really confused me as a kid. I didn't know what platinum was, and I got really confused by the silver relic that came after gold. What a dumb little shit, am I right? Everything in this game looks really cool too. The backgrounds have more of a realistic look to them in contrast to the rest of the series' games that were out at the time. Like I said before, there are the 3 types of stages: linear, underwater linear, and aerial. But there's a subset of linear stages, and those are the ice stages. And these are honestly my favorite ones. The cute enemies, unique hazards, and cool blue of the ice work super well to bring these stages to life. They even have these parts when you fall onto the back of a baby polar bear and ride away from this Yeti, which scared me as a kid. Look at him, he's fucking terrifying. Shit, man, I was scared of Elmo and Grouchland as a child. And you wanna know why? You want my honest answer? It's because I had a blankie and the bad guy in that movie took away Elmo's blankie. That is not cool, man. As to be expected, the sound effects are just as cartoony and fitting as any Crash game. They perfectly convey how little the game takes itself seriously, which I really appreciate. The music, as usual, is fantastic. You start up the game and are greeted to this amazing title screen. Ain't it just beautiful? It really shows that even if you have just a black background, the goddamn space screensaver from any Windows computer, and a logo, if you have kick-ass music, you can truly convey atmosphere.
So, in all honesty, it's a really fun game I've played since childhood, but it's fucking hard.